When we think of World War II, our minds often jump to the big famous names: Winston Churchill with his cigar, or General Eisenhower planning D-Day. They are important, of course, but they are only one part of the picture. What if I told you that some of the most crucial moments of the war were shaped by people whose names you've probably never heard? These are the hidden heroes, the secret agents, the everyday folks who did extraordinary things. Their stories aren't always found in the official records or celebrated with grand parades. Instead, they are tucked away in dusty archives or passed down through family whispers. These were people who didn't seek fame or glory. Their actions, though small on the world stage, created ripples that changed the course of history forever. So, let's pull back the curtain on history and shine a light on these forgotten figures. We are going on a little adventure, a historical treasure hunt, to uncover one of the most thrilling and inspiring tales of World War II. Let's begin our journey in occupied France, a place filled with danger and secrets. Here we meet a young woman named Eileen Nern. She was a spy working for the Special Operations Executive, or SOE. Her codename was Rose, and her job was incredibly risky. She was parachuted into France with a secret radio transmitter tucked away in her suitcase. Her mission was to help the French resistance, the brave men and women fighting against the Nazis in their own country. Eileen had to find safe houses, set up her radio, and send vital messages back to London. For months, Eileen operated in the shadows. She moved from one hiding place to another, always just one step ahead of the enemy. The messages she sent were lifelines. They contained information about German troop movements, plans for sabotage, and requests for weapons and supplies. Every time she tapped out a message in Morse code, she knew she could be discovered. The Nazis had special detector vans that roamed the streets, hunting for illegal radio signals. It was a terrifying cat-and-mouse game, and Eileen was the mouse, surrounded by prowling cats, but she never wavered. One day, her luck ran out. The Gestapo, the Nazi secret police, burst into her safe house. They captured Eileen and her precious radio. They took her to their headquarters and tortured her, trying to force her to reveal her secrets. They wanted to know about the resistance network, the names of her contacts, and the codes she used. But Eileen was tougher than they could ever imagine. Despite the terrible pain, she refused to speak. She told them nothing. She pretended she was just an innocent shopgirl who had no idea what the radio was for. They simply couldn't break her spirit. Eventually, they gave up trying to get information from her and sent her to the Ravensbrück concentration camp, one of the most brutal places on Earth. Even there, facing death every day, she never revealed her true identity as a British spy. In a final act of incredible bravery, she managed to escape from a forced march just as the war was ending. Eileen Nern's courage saved countless lives. Her secret messages helped the Allies win key battles, and her silence under torture protected the entire French resistance network. She was a true hero, a rose that refused to wilt in the darkest of times. The story of Eileen Nern is just one thread in a vast, colorful tapestry of wartime heroism. For every famous general, there were thousands of secret heroes whose names we will never know. There were the Danish fishermen who smuggled nearly their entire country's Jewish population to safety in Sweden. There was the German official Georg Duckwitz, who risked his life to warn them the Nazis were coming. There were countless resistance fighters, medics, ordinary citizens who chose to act when it would have been so much easier to look away. What do all these people have in common? They weren't born with superpowers. They were regular people, students, factory workers, parents, and even children. But when they were faced with incredible darkness, they found an incredible light inside themselves. They understood that doing nothing was not an option. Their choices, big and small, had monumental consequences. Eileen's silence saved a resistance network. Without her, the war could have gone very differently. Her bravery teaches us a timeless lesson. It shows us that you don't need a fancy title or a uniform to make a difference. True heroism isn't about being the strongest or the loudest. It's about having the courage to stand up for what's right, especially when it's hard. It's about helping others, even at great personal risk, and that is the most inspiring message of all. The potential for heroism lies within each and every one of us. It lives in small acts of kindness, in speaking out against injustice, and in helping a neighbor in need. You might not be asked to parachute behind enemy lines, but every day presents opportunities to be a quiet hero in your own world. History is still being written, and we all have a part to play. Remember, you don't know who will really save the world. It might just be you.